All right, you landed on this video and you are thinking of creating a AI business or maybe a marketing agency, or maybe you're a local business owner that is looking to leverage AI into your business. Well, hopefully you came to the right video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through a three-step process, which hopefully by the end of the video, I'm going to give you some real life examples of what I'm trying to implement in my business. These are not me doing to perfection, but to actually implement it with just real life. There's nothing scripted, but so basically, this is a real case scenario of what I'm implementing in my business. All right, my name is Paul Kim, and in this channel, I talk about more income, more freedom using AI and automations. All right, so as some of it, you may know that I run a marketing agency, all right? And so um, one of the things that I realize and I see that people overcomplicate this, not because of, it's just because there's too many tools, there is too many platforms, there is too many people, gurus out there saying the wrong thing. So hopefully I'm going to reveal and clarify some of the things and simplify it as much as I can. All right. Because at the end of the day, maybe you are in your 40s or 50s, in my case, right? You don't have 30 hours to implement things or 30 hours in a week to uh, to to do the things that you need to do, right? Because you have a family, you have maybe a full-time job, or maybe you are yourself running multiple businesses. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to create something simple that you can get results as quickly as possible. All right, so what am I building? I am building an AI employee, right? Or this AI employee can get to ultimately do multiple things within my business. All right, so at the end of the day, if you are trying to sell this, or this probably applies to more if you're trying to sell this to local businesses. But at the end of the day, you need one offer, one system, and we're going to talk about those three steps. Just bear with me. All right. All right. So before I get into it, by no means you don't need to be a tech expert, right? So you may look at me and say, "Oh, Paul is an expert in this technology." But at the end of the day, yes, I am familiar with technology. But at the same time, my goal is to provide you and simplify this process so that if my let's just say my 13-year-old can do it, you can do it as well. All right. So and you don't need to overcomplicate this. I mean, and sometimes I do have a way to complicate. I have a way of complicating things, and so my ultimate goal, is to try to simplify. Also, I want to say that in my case, right, because I have many, many years of experience, and what I'm going to give you some examples of are things that I've worked up. What I have created took years and years, but ultimately, what I'm trying to do is try to create a simplified version of the things that I'm creating, right? In my case, what I'm doing is I'm providing audits. That's because I have experience. So if you don't have experience, it may be difficult, but then in those cases, you may use mock-ups. You may use some other alternative way to showcase your experience or your authority. All right, that's the way I call it. And then what I'm using is YouTube content or content marketing to drive leads. And then I also have a lead magnet. You may not have a lead magnet, but there are other ways to generate traffic or generate leads. And then most importantly, what you want to do is you want to have a simple automations. All right, so let's go over the three steps, step by step. All right, step number one, you need to solve one problem that a business has. There could be so many different problems that a business has, but I'm going to give you some examples of a problem, right? So for example, majority of businesses need leads, right? And there is so many different ways to generate. One of them happens to be, for example, what I do best is Google leads. from local SEO, right? Another example of a problem may be answering the inbound calls or answering inbound leads that are coming into your business, whether it's through phone calls or through emails. I'll give you another example. For example, maybe you're a coach or you're an entrepreneur, and um, your the people that are hanging out, that your avatar are people in LinkedIn. So you may do a LinkedIn DM strategy, right? And that's a way for you to solve a specific problem that a coach might have to generate leads. And then what I see over and over again, that most businesses, I think, they, I know that they have a problem with this, but they may not, they may not contribute and, basically explicitly say that they have a follow-up problem. But most businesses have a follow-up problem, meaning that when they get a lead, they don't follow and nurture that lead. So we talked about a couple of problems, but you have to pick one, and you have to really clarify that problem that you're solving, right? Let's go to step number 2. Now, this step number 2 is utilizing AI or automation to solve that specific problem that we talked about in step number 1, right? So I'm going to give you some examples in this case. All right, so let's take a look at, for example, if you are helping a customer you solve a problem of generating Google leads, right? And then now they have inbound traffic or inbound calls that they're receiving. Now, how do they capture it and how do they follow up? Well, using AI agents or employees can capture that information and execute a simple follow-up, right? Let's take for another example. In my case, right, I am doing audits and I'm sending out audits. And one of that problem, like for me, was following up with those leads, right? Previously I would send out an audit and I didn't really have a system, but I would just manually follow up with them. And so in the past couple of months, I've created a simple automation that follows up with them. And I'm going to show you, toward the end of this video, that automation. And then lastly, something that I'm doing in my business currently is I'm pushing out more content through YouTube, as well as repurposing the long form video to create shorts, right? And I'm using the power of AI, meaning I'm using ChatGPT to leverage the things that would have taken a long time, or maybe things that I would normally not been able to do without the help of a copywriter or a social media manager or somebody else. I'm able to do that in a shorter period of time. So I want to get this straight. So at the end of the day, if you are selling this type of business model, or maybe you're going toward the businesses that you're trying to sell AI, you're not selling AI. You're selling a solution using AI as the tool. So step number 3 is you need to build a traffic system as well as a follow-up system. So what I mean by that, at the end of the day, you're solving a problem, but most local businesses, at the end of the day, unless you help them generate some sort of a return, or in most cases generate a lead, most likely they're going to cancel the service, or they're going to say this, it's not working out. And they look at your services as an expense and not an investment. And so what I mean by that is, at the end of the year, they look at you and they look at that line item of whatever amount that you're spending. Is it helping? Is it not? If it's not helping, then it's an expense. All right. So with that in mind, you want to help them to create that one traffic system, right? Whether it's you're helping them generate leads for Google's, or you're helping them generate leads through content management or content, pushing out more content. And then you need to create a follow-up system that will follow up with the leads that are coming in. So I'll give you some example of some traffic system. Now, I'm not saying these are not. I'm not telling you to do these because, for example, creating YouTube content, it's a lot harder than you think, right? And doing it consistently, right? It took me many years to get to where I am right now. Okay, and so that is content. When you are pushing out content, whether it's through social media or whether it's you're doing cold outreach, I call that you have to do it in a way that builds authority. And so in future videos, I will talk about that. But at the end of the day, if if you're pushing out content and you are not driving authority with your brand, then you're kind of wasting your time and effort. And the same can be applied if, for example, you're doing LinkedIn outreach or you're doing cold calling. You have to provide some sort of authority building, um, whether it's an audit or some sort of a you have to provide value, because if you don't provide value, a cold outreach has no meaning whatsoever. Meanings you're gonna be ignored. All right, so the second part of the step three is basically building a follow-up system. Now, that follow-up system can be a lot of different things, but in most instances, it's a sequence of emails or text messages after somebody submits or raises their hand. So, for example, in my case, if somebody raises their hand and requests an audit, then I have systems in place that once I send them a audit, then a follow-up set of email sequences goes, executes, and those automations or executions happen without me. So let's transition into some real life situations or real life cases of exactly the stuff that I'm building in my business, right? And so the first one is a lead magnet that I have that I've been building for the past, I don't remember, a couple of years. It's called the Free Leads Blueprint, right? If you want to download it, you can go to freeleadsblueprint.com, and basically it's what I call it is the AI Google lead system. So once somebody downloads the blueprint, what happens is a set of automation takes place, and the first one is they get added into my pipeline, and then what happens next is an email goes out with a copy of the blueprint. And then one day later, what happens is a webhook. A webhook is a basically a connection to another platform. Now, the reason I don't like sending emails in certain situations through the HighLevel platform is that just like in any other email platforms, mass marketing email platforms, it tends to go into promotions. So I want to make sure that the email specifically goes into the inbox, and I use a platform called Instantly. And so it sends a hook, a webhook to Instantly. In this case, it sends a sequence of, it basically triggers instantly to send a sequence of emails. There, I believe, 5 email sequences that goes out on a daily basis, and that's my follow-up to when somebody downloads the Free Leads Blueprint. And then lastly, once they go into the sequence, so as you can see in the pipeline, the first stage is they opt into the blueprint, and then the second stage is they will go into the instantly follow-up sequence, and then after 7 days, they get pushed to the status, right? And in after that, what happens is a set of emails goes out if they want to purchase the Google, which is my low ticket Google Goldmine course, right? And then if they purchase it, they go into the next pipeline, all right? So this, what I showed you took probably a quite number, it took me a couple of years for me to figure this out. But what I'm showing you is that it can be as simple as just an email that goes out a couple of, when somebody opts into your lead magnet, and a set of emails goes out sequentially. All right. And that can be set up very simply. right? All right, the second example that I want to share with you is something that I actually implement in my business is basically you want to filter out those people that are tire kickers and people that really want a solution, right, to whatever product or services that you want. And so, what I have is what's called a micro yes campaign. So basically, sending out a an email campaign that basically asks people to raise their hand if they are interested in your product or services, and if they are, then they would reply. And in my case, I do audits for people. Right, it's a simple 5-minute video audit that I send out. Now, for me, it may take maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes for me to just take a look at their somebody's business and then send out the video, right? But then the missing piece was me, figuring out, okay, or setting the time to figure out how to create a follow-up sequence. And that's when I sat down and really devise a simple, following the 3 steps that I talked about, right? The problem, the how to use AI, right, or automations. And so when I send out a email, right, of the audit, they get pushed into in the pipeline. Let me show you in instantly. What happens is when I send out the email campaign through instantly to all some of the people, like, to my database, right? And when I get a reply, that triggers a webhook to come into my CRM platform, and they get added into my pipeline, the leads as a lead, right? And then I would send out the audit, right? And then when I send out the audit, I would move them into the next stage, which is audit. And so what happens is that when that gets triggered, th- the 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 trigger in within the pipeline. So I'm trying to explain it as simply as possible. There's an automation that says when I move the contact over to the audit stage, which is the audit column, that's going to trigger a email that's going to go into instantly to follow up. And I believe there is a 3 email sequence that goes out to them to try to schedule a booking call, right? And so it's a simple. I mean, to me, it might be simple, but if this is something of interest that you want to learn more about, I do have a free community to get more information, more training. Some of the videos that I'm going to be providing, there are videos in the community, which I plan to do. I haven't done it yet. Um, that shows you all of this in the on the back end, right? So right now I'm showing you the front end, the back end, and I try to make my training videos as simple as possible. All right. So the third real life example that I want to go over is missed opportunities through inbound calls. Now, there are other ways, like, traffic to my website, in Google Business Profile. I'm going to go over them in future videos, but specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about the inbound calls. The reason I'm talking about that specifically today is because for the longest time, I pretty much ignored calls because majority, I would say 8 out of 10 calls I would get are solicitation spam calls. And so, but I know that there are potential calls, leads that are coming in that I am missing. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to implement an AI agent, right? So basically using AI to pick up the calls and filter them. And so rather than creating a complicated AI agent, I created a basic out of the box AI agent in HighLevel. And I think in my next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the full walkthrough of me setting it up. But what I want to do is I want to show you. So basically, by a phone call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call. my number. Now, I do have my phone muted, so that's why you're not hearing the ringtone. So I'm gonna call and let's put it in speaker.
Hey, you have reached K Madison Media. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm trying to get in touch with Paul Kim.
Got it. Let me take down your details so I can pass them along to the right team. Can I start with your name, please?
Sure, it is.
Just to confirm, that's
Uh, can you slow it down a little bit?
of course. That's J-H-S-E. Is that right?
Yes, at gmail.com. Actually, that's my name. So sorry.
No problem at all. Let's start fresh. Could you share your email address and I'll confirm it for you?
Sure, it's
Got it. Correct?
yeah, you're speaking really fast. Maybe slow it down a little bit.
Absolutely, no problem. Let me confirm again. Nice and slow. Does that look right?
Yes.
Perfect. Could you let me know what the issue or reason for reaching out to Paul Kim is? I'll make sure the team has all the details.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how I can improve my ranking and also with some of my marketing for my business.
Got it. You're looking for help with improving your ranking and marketing for your business. I'll make sure the team passes this along to Paul Kim. Someone will get back to you soon to assist further. Anything else you'd like me to note?
No, that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome, John. Thanks for reaching out, and we'll make sure someone gets back to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. So I think that there's still a lot of improvements that could be made, but rather than me missing a call, I would rather implement that. And then what happens is a transcript of that call comes in to my email and I will get that. And so not only has it captured the name, email, phone number, and the reason for the call, right? And then the other thing, this voice AI, this AI agent also has the ability to counter the spammers. And if it a spam or those Google listings that, I get all the time, it will specifically say to the or respond, please take us off the list. Okay, so that's one of the things that it does. And so this has helped me to not be worried that I'm going to miss a call because it has the ability to capture it. So I think one of the things I do have to probably customize is the maybe slowing it down a little bit. So I'm not sure if that can be done, but I'm pretty sure it can. But that's it, right? And so that's a real world, this real case scenario of what I'm doing in my business and implementing AI and other things. So if this video was helpful, subscribe. And in my future videos, I'm going to give you the things that I'm doing in my business and share with you. And so hopefully that you can take away and implement it in your business. Or if you are selling it to other, or you're, helping other businesses, I hope that it helps you as well. All right. So I have additional training that I'm going to provide in my community. It's a free community. The name is Freedom Voyage, but I'm going to put the link in the description and, sign up, register, and there are a lot of people that are interacting in that community as well. All right. So I hope this video was helpful and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Okay. Bye now.